off, the Indiana Fever go into New York and walk out of New York with a W in hand. Things that I like.
9 months, a torn groin, a bone bruise on the opposite ankle. And WNBA viewership collapsed 55% the moment she went down last year, confirmed by Nielsen. Yesterday, Caitlin Clark walked back into Barclays Center in Brooklyn. First possession of the entire 2026 preseason, she drives straight to the rim. Layup. Done. Second possession, 30 feet out, step back, logo 3. Splashed 5 points, 2 possessions. The defending Eastern Conference champions looked completely stunned. Then she missed 8 straight shots. And someone photographed her on the bench in a back brace. The internet split into 2 groups. Immediately, celebration and full panic. Neither group has the complete picture. Today we give you the actual truth from start to finish. Start with the scoreboard because the scoreboard is brutal in the best way. Indiana Fever 109. New York Liberty 91. Now read what Indy 9 won. Now read what Indiana was missing. No Aaliyah Boston, held out for cautionary reasons on her lower leg. No Lexi Hull, hamstring. No Ty Harris, knee. No Demira Stantis. 4 rotation players gone before tip-off. They still beat the defending Eastern Conference champions by 18 points on the road in a hostile arena in Game 1 of preseason with 5 days of practice together. That number, 18 points, is not a fluke. The Liberty had Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones on the floor. That is a legitimate super team, and Indiana made them look ordinary for most of 40 minutes. This result alone should change how the rest of the league is thinking about this Fever roster. When fully healthy, this team is genuinely dangerous. We will come back to that.
Right to the post, boom, get off me, right over your head. That's how we started off the game, folks. That's how we started off the game. Love to see that. Then we follow up 5-0, I believe, after a Sophie Cunningham
Before we
3.
talk about Clark, let's talk about who actually carried this game, because that story matters just as much. Kelsey Mitchell, 18 points, 7 of 12 shooting, plus 20 on the night. Mitchell is now officially the highest paid player in Indiana Fever history after signing a $1 million deal this offseason. She played like it. Efficient, aggressive, decisive. She did not wait for Clark to create everything. She created on her own. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, 18 points off the bench. This is a player fighting for roster security, and she delivered a performance that made that conversation a lot simpler. Sophie Cunningham, 13 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 3 threes. Remember, this woman tore her MCL in late August last year. Her season ended on a stretcher. She came back, signed a new deal, walked into Barclays Center, and went 3 of 6 from 3 against an elite defense. That is mental toughness that does not show up in a box score. Michaela Timpson, perfect from the field, plus 16 rating. A menace inside all night. Justine Pensot, 10 minutes, 6 points, plus 6. She is literally fighting for a roster spot right now. She played like someone who knows it. 2 of 4 from the field, clean and disciplined basketball under maximum pressure. 8 different Indiana players scored 6 or more points. 8 against a championship defense. That is balance. That is the system Stephanie White has been building, and it worked on the road in Game 1 without half the starting lineup.
In case you guys didn't see it, Caitlin Clark walking around with a back brace. Now, I know some people are saying, people in my chat were saying, shout out to everybody in the venue, salute to y'all. People are saying this is a biometric device. Looks like a back brace to me.
Now the number everyone is fixated on. 2 of 10 from the field, 7 points, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, 16 minutes and 39 seconds. Here's the honest breakdown. She has not played real WNBA basketball since July 15th, 2025, 9 months ago. The FIBA tournament in March gave her competitive reps, but international competition is a completely different environment. WNBA defenses trap differently. The physicality is different. The size of the players guarding her is different. The defensive schemes are different. She walked back into the most hostile possible situation. Barclays Center, packed crowd, full Liberty defense, without Aaliyah Boston setting screens, and without Lexi Hull spacing the floor. Boston is Clark's primary pick-and-roll partner, Without her, Clark had to operate in a completely different offensive structure against a defense that spent the entire offseason preparing for her specifically. Of course she missed shots. The honest question is not, why did she miss? The honest question is, what did her movement actually look like? The answer? Clean. No limp, no hesitation, no moment where she protected one side of her body. She attacked the rim on her first possession without thinking twice. She pulled up from 30 feet on her second without hesitation. She got to her spots throughout the game. The ball simply was not going in. That is rust, not injury. Rust is fixable with game reps. Injuries change seasons. And here is what the panic conversation is completely ignoring. 4 assists and 0 turnovers in under 17 minutes. Clark's gravity was working all night even when her shot was not. The defense had to account for her constantly. That opened lanes for Mitchell, Walker, Kimbrough, and Cunningham. The Fever scored 109 points, partially because defenses cannot ignore Clark even on a bad shooting night. That is what generational players do. They impact the game beyond their own stat line. This is the part of the conversation that deserves the most discipline. After Clark came out of the game, she was photographed on the bench wearing a visible medical back brace. The second those images hit the internet, full panic activated. Understandably, last year was traumatic for this fan base. She suffered a right groin injury in July and then a bone bruise on her left ankle during an August workout. She missed 31 games. Viewership collapsed without her. Fans are conditioned to expect the worst at any sign of trouble. But here is what we actually know. The Indiana Fever have not issued any
lull in the offense. I believe sometime in the second quarter, we had like a very lull in our offense where the New York Liberty is kind of putting it on us, and we're sitting around asking ourselves, what's going on? Raven Johnson stepped up in that moment and said, damn, I guess I got to try to be as aggressive as I can. I guess I got to make things happen. She takes it coast to coast. She hits she hits Kelsey Mitchell, I believe.
medical report regarding a back issue. Clark did not address the brace in her post-game comments. Head coach Stephanie White said before the game that managing Clark's body is the top priority this preseason. What WNBA players use compression wraps, heating pads, and structural support braces on the bench regularly. Sometimes for real injuries, sometimes for stiffness. Sometimes as part of a proactive load management plan for a player coming back from a long absence. The brace could be any of those things. We do not know yet. What we do know is that she moved without any visible restriction while she was on the floor. That is the most important data point, not the bench photo. Wait for the medical report. Monitor it closely. But do not declare the season over based on a sideline photograph. That is not analysis. That is just panic dressed up as concern.
Now the most underreported story from yesterday. Raven Johnson. Indiana drafted Johnson with the 10th pick in the 2026 WNBA draft. The internet immediately turned it into a controversy. Too many point guards. No clear role. Wasted pick. You heard every version of that argument. Johnson answered every single one of them in her first professional game. 3 of 3 from the field. 6 points. 3 rebounds. 8 assists. 0 turnovers. 2 blocks. 1 steal. Plus 14 in 17 minutes. 8 assists and 0 turnovers as a rookie point guard in her first WNBA game against a championship defense. Read that one more time. She ran the offense, she majored repins, 4 mauls, she made reads, she found shooters. She did not try to do too much. She did not panic when the Liberty made runs. In the second quarter, when the offense went flat, she pushed pace herself, took it coast to coast, found the open corner shooter, kept the game moving. That is not a player who needs time to develop. That is a player who just told you she is already a rotation piece. The point guard controversy is over. Johnson closed it herself.